The Champions League is back, but not as we fully know it. Hey guys, welcome to the channel. Welcome to another video. Yes, today's video is going to centre all around the Champions League phase draw that was drawn out today. The Champions League is on the verge of returning, but of course there's a big twist this year in the form of a brand new format that is set to be unveiled and reveal itself before our very eyes this very season. It was a very interesting league phase draw. That's what they're calling it now, the league phase draw. Not a group stage draw anymore, a league phase draw. It's threw up some very interesting and should be some very mouth-watering games and prospects for us to feast our eyes upon and to sink our teeth into as the league phase draw goes on. And we're going to be talking about it all. We're going to be talking about what this draw has thrown up. Before we go any further and talking about all of that, though, I would like to remind you all to please like the video and also subscribe if you're new. Both things are always incredibly greatly appreciated. Get involved in the comment section. Let me know your thoughts, your comments, opinions, predictions, feelings, whatever you want to call it. That makes great and interesting reading, I'm sure, down below. But without further ado, let's get on with the video. Let's go on. We're talking about the league phase draw for this season's brand new and improved, or suppose they say it's brand new and improved, Champions League. First and foremost, I want to gauge your opinion. Did you like the draw? Did you like the new setup? Do you like the new format? Those kind of things I'm very interested in from you guys, how you see it as well. For those of you who don't know how this draw is going to work out this year, basically there are now 36 teams in the Champions League. They go into a big league system, but each team will be given 8 games to play off. There'll be all different games. Everybody will be facing different teams in those 8 games. And the top 8 sides that finish the top 8 in the league will be automatically through to the knockout stages. Teams placed from 9th to 24th will have to negotiate a playoff round, while the teams that finish 25th or lower will be eliminated from all European competitions. So that's the new format in terms of the league setup this season. There's 8 games, 4 home, 4 away, and at the end of them games, the top 8 qualify automatically. From 9th to 24th, so the other kind of 16 teams there go into a bit of a knockout kind of thing, a pre-phase knockout before the actual knockouts, and then the rest are simply left to drop out of all European competitions. We're not going to go through each and every single team because we'll be here forever talking about each and every single team's setup of games, but we're going to go through some of the bigger ones and some of the more intriguing ones. We're going to start off with Manchester City. They play Inter Milan, Club Brugge, Feyenoord and Sparta Prague at home. And then obviously on the away side of things, they've got PSG, Juventus, Sporting and Bratislava. That's how they've put it here. Bratislava. I just love using the actual names of them. I'm more interested in their away games. They're going to be very intriguing. It's going to be very interesting to see how it works this season. Certain teams obviously play and feed off of the energy that they get at home. Some teams might try and stink the place out away from home. It's going to be very interesting, the sort of dynamic between home and away this season in this competition. But City should have no problem in navigating their way through to the knockout stages. The top 8 is where they should be aiming for. Inter will be no problem. PSG could be tricky away from home, but City should have enough about them to go through. Club Brugge, I think we normally see City face Club Brugge in the group stages in the past, so they should have no problem there. They've become really acquainted with each other over the years. Juventus away from home, that's going to be a big test for Juventus, and it's going to be a really kind of acid test of how good really is the Juventus manager over there, Thiago Motta. So that's going to be interesting. Feyenoord should be no problem. Sporting away from home, that could be very, very interesting to say the least for Sporting. We know obviously about their manager and some of their players as well. So that's going to be very intriguing to obviously see. And then Sparta Prague and Bratislava. I just love saying that. Yeah, they should have no problem whatsoever in navigating their way through to knockouts at the first time of asking. Moving on to Liverpool, and Liverpool, typically, They've been drawn at home to Real Madrid, Bayer Leverkusen, Lille and Bologna, and then drawn away to the likes of Leipzig, AC Milan, PSV and Girona. So instantly, the big ones there, right, is obviously Real Madrid. We've become well acquainted with them in the past several years. We obviously know the story and the history behind Jurgen Klopp's kryptonite, I guess you could say, in Real Madrid, having constantly been knocked out of this competition by them in the past. But the upside is that Liverpool are at home, and Real Madrid in these kinds of situations, particularly at the beginning of the season, are not normally known for starting quickly out of the gate. So maybe Liverpool might fancy their chances in this one of maybe getting something over on them, especially, like I say, with the home advantage as well. By Leverkusen, we know about Xabi Alonso. We know how he turned down Liverpool this summer. That's going to be very interesting there for the narrative. And then, of course, PSV. Don't really need to say much about that, considering our new manager, Arne Slot. But yeah, there you have it. PSV away from home. That's going to be an interesting battle as well. So there you have it for that kind of fixture. They're the ones that stick out to me instantly off the bat. But otherwise, Leipzig should be fine. Milan should be fine. Lille should be no problem whatsoever. Bologna and Girona obviously making their debut in this competition. Again, they all pose different and difficult threats in their own way, but Liverpool as a team, as a collective, should have no issue in getting through to the knockout stages at the first time of asking, you would imagine. Real Madrid will be difficult. Leverkusen will pose a threat. Of course, there's a romantic side of PSV as well for Arne Slot himself. But other than that, the other teams, they'll pose difficult threats, but they should go through nonetheless. Moving on to the other English teams, we've got Arsenal next, and they've been drawn at home to PSG, Shakhtar Donetsk, Dynamo Kiev and Monaco, and have been drawn away to Inter Milan, Atalanta, Sporting and Girona. Arguably a harder time, maybe, a harder batch of fixtures for the Gunners, but one, again, that they should be navigating their way through. PSG might be difficult. Inter will obviously pose its own threats. Shakhtar Donetsk, luckily they got them at home. Away from home, you probably could see that being a bit of a tricky fixture for them to navigate through. Atalanta, last season's Europa League winners, and we know that they knocked out Liverpool. We know that they can be extremely difficult to face. But again, Arsenal should certainly fancy their chances there. Dynamo Zagreb, that should be a win there. Monaco should be a win. Girona could be difficult, but also just a win there in itself. Sporting, like I said earlier, could be tricky, but again, Arsenal, you would imagine, should get qualification to the knockout stages at some point, whether it be the first time of asking or through the knockout to the knockout stages, whatever case may be. And finally, for completing the English teams, we've of course got Aston Villa back in the big time, back in Europeans elite competition for the first time in many a year. And they've been drawn to Bayern Munich, which is massive to kick things off for them. Drawn at home to Bayern Munich. That is huge there. Juventus at home, another huge game. Celtic at home and Bologna at home. And they've been drawn away to the likes of Leipzig, Club Brugge, Young Boys and Monaco. So, interesting games there, difficult games as well. You would imagine Bayern Munich's going to obviously be tough, even if it is with a new manager at the helm in Vincent Kompany. You know that they've still got the players that should probably be the favourites to go into that game with. Juventus is going to be tough for them. Celtic, probably more favourable, and Bologna as well. Maybe a sort of more favourable tie for Villa to maybe look to get points in. Monaco, Young Boys, Club Brugge and Leipzig, again, all difficult, and we talked about a couple of them teams earlier on in the video, of course. but they pose interesting and great threats. And you know, Aston Villa are going to love and enjoy being back in the top tier of elite football again. And of course, it's going to be historic for them as well as everybody else because of the new format. But it's going to throw some interesting ties. If you're being honest with yourself, they could certainly make it through to the knockout stages at the second time of asking through the knockout stages. But like I say, it's going to be difficult. It's going to be a challenge. It's going to be a big challenge for them. Real Madrid have been drawn to Borussia Dortmund. Liverpool, of course, as we know. AC Milan, Atalanta, Salzburg, Lille, Stuttgart and Brest. They are going to be the team that is debuting from France, of course. Big games for the Champions League holders. They, of course, made it 15 times Champions League winners, Real Madrid, last season. Could they look to defend their crown again? And let's face it, they've had some big reinforcements this summer. The likes of Endrick coming in and Mbappe, to say the least. They are certainly looking to add a 16th Champions League, which will be even more historic, like I say, given the change in format. But again, you would probably imagine Real Madrid will go through in those fixtures. Bayern Munich have got PSG, Barcelona, Benfica, Shakhtar Donetsk, Dinamo Zagreb, Feyenoord, Bratislava and Aston Villa. It's going to be interesting to see Bayern Munich this season. I'm not fully convinced with Vincent Kompany, so it's going to be very intriguing to obviously see how Bayern Munich and Vincent Kompany manage to navigate this. We're usually used to seeing Bayern dominate the group stages and pass with flying colours. This time around, I'm not so sure. I'm not so sure if it will be quite that simple. But again, you would imagine that they should be progressing. Barcelona, Bayern Munich, Dortmund, Atalanta, Benfica, Young Boys, Red Star Belgrade, Brest and Monaco. Interesting ties there for Barcelona. Again, it's going to be very interesting to see how they manage to deal with all of that as well, with everything that's going on with them. And there's some other interesting ties as well. Dortmund are the likes of Barcelona, Real Madrid. They've got the two Spanish giants. That's going to be tough for them. Last season's Champions League runners-up, of course. They've then got Shakhtar, Club Brugge, Celtic, Dinamo Zagreb, Sturm Graz and Bologna. So some hit-and-miss ties, I guess you could say, for Dortmund in that one as well. It's going to be an interesting setup. There are so many teams that I could go through and their fixtures. I think it's me. I've got to admit, I was a bit on the fence and a bit sceptical of this change in format and this interesting kind of new way that they've jazzed up the sort of group stage / league phase setup of this season's Champions League. But I've got to be honest, it's thrown up some very interesting ties, and obviously the whole overall league setup has made it even more interesting. So there are so many possibilities that obviously could happen towards the latter stages of the league phase draw, in terms of league performance and in terms of who qualifies automatically, who drops into the knockout bit, who qualifies for the knockout bit, and who drops out altogether. There are so many things that are going on in this league phase draw, but I'm very much intrigued by it all unraveling before our very eyes, really. I'm on board with it. I was a little bit skeptical at first, but I'm now completely on board with it. Very much looking forward to seeing how this all turns out. Very much looking forward to seeing, obviously, how Liverpool participate in this season's Champions League. Like I say, I think they should qualify at the first time of asking, given our sort of batch of fixtures, but we shall see how everything turns out. Look, guys, I've rambled on for long enough. I want to know what you guys are thinking and feeling. Let me know your thoughts, your comments, opinions, predictions, feelings about the new and improved Champions League. What do you make of the league phase draw? Let me know down below in the comment section. Use and abuse that section, people, and talk to me on what you think about the Champions League for this season. Otherwise, hit the like button on the way if you enjoyed the video. Subscribe if you are new or want to see more content like this. Both things are always and forever greatly appreciated. Otherwise, thank you all so much for watching and listening. I've been Fletch. This has been another Fletch Talks video, and I will see you speak to you all again soon in another video or live stream or whatever it may be. Cheers, guys. Thanks for watching. Take care. Enjoy the rest of your night. Speak to you all again very, very soon.